Hello everyone, this is Logan59XP here for another episode of the Nin-Cast here on December 7th of 2022, which means happy birthday Smash Ultimate, you're 4 years old. Yep, that's right, Smash Ultimate is officially 4 years old. Yeah, I was actually thinking of doing a anniversary kind of stream for it today, but the Mario Kart DLC just came out, so we went ahead and streamed that instead. But anyways, however, today we are here to talk about my predictions and hopes for the Game Awards 2022, which is happening tomorrow, and you better stay tuned because, of course, I will be streaming it here on YouTube, so be on the lookout for that. But anyways, so, the Game Awards. Now, I think it's safe to say that there's a lot of people out there that don't have any real faith in this show right now. I mean, I think the last couple of years have kind of, conditioned people to, not expect, anything, really. Or at least not expect anything that they're personally interested in. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I like every single thing that they show. In fact, if I'm being honest, there's only really a couple of things they show that I really have any interest in. But that doesn't mean that the awards show should be written off entirely. Although, in some respects, you see, here's the thing about the Game Awards that's very interesting. Even though it's called the Game Awards, nobody cares about that aspect of the show, or at least they don't care about it for the most part. Unless a game that they really like is in contention for Game of the Year, no one cares about the awards. And of course, not literally nobody, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, if they care about the awards at all, they care about Game of the Year, because it's Game of the Year, obviously. And outside that, they just care about the announcements. That's all that matters. Even though it's the Game Awards, what it really should be is basic. See, it's weird, because the Game Awards is effectively, even though it's not supposed to be, it is effectively, in practice, a mini E3 with Game Awards tacked on. Because that's what it basically is. It's basically a game reveal show that happens to have Game of the Year at the very end. That's pretty much what it is. Whether or not that's what Jeff Keighley intended or not, I don't know. But that's what it's turned into, or at least that's how it's perceived. Because that's basically what it is. I mean, a lot of people kind of treat it as being kind of the other big gaming event. Because obviously we've traditionally had, well, at least again, traditionally we've had E3 last. We didn't have it last year. No, we had it. We did not have it this year. But we are supposed to have it next year, hopefully. But I don't know. So E3 is kind of on shaky ground right now in terms of its viability and whether or not it's going to really exist in the future. But traditionally, for the longest time, it was E3 is the big gaming event, and then a few months, and then 4 or 5 months later, at the end of the year, we'd have the Game Awards as kind of not the same caliber, but a lot of games do get showcased at the Game Awards, and we do get a lot of reveals at the Game Awards, so we've kind of just grown this assumption that there's always going to be something. However, in more recent years, people have become kind of pessimistic, particularly when it comes to Nintendo announcements, because Nintendo used to have something at the Game Awards every year, and then now it's transitioned to being every other year. And even when they do have something, it's normally not that much. I mean, not that they show 5 things, but for example, 2018 we had Joker, 2019 nothing, 2020 Sephiroth, 2021 nothing. It's 2022. Are we gonna get something this year, or is it gonna be another nothing? Well, we'll get into Nintendo in a bit, but I want to actually talk about everything else first. So we're gonna talk about all the other stuff that's probably gonna be showcased and whether or not I think it's gonna happen or not. And then we'll talk about, of course, what we may or may not get from Nintendo, and then we'll talk about, as a quick little wrap up, the actual awards themselves, which, like most people, I don't really care about that much outside of Game of the Year, and even then I don't care that much. I mean, when there's a game that I really like, obviously I'm cheering for it to win, but if it doesn't win, I'm not going to lose my mind. Obviously, in 2017, right, when Breath of the Wild was nominated, obviously, like everyone else, I was basically championing, please, come on. If it doesn't win, it's not the end of the world, but please win, please win. And then, of course, it won, and it was yay, they won. And then in 2019, Smash Ultimate was up. And even though I knew Smash Ultimate was realistically not going to win, I still was maybe they could pull out a win, and they didn't. And, wasn't the end of the world. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's nice to have Game of the Year, but it's just an award. It's a nice award, but it's just an award. And this year, again, we'll save this for later. There's not any games in the Game of the Year category that I have any strong, oh yeah, I want this one to win kind of thing. But again, we'll save that for later. But anyways, let's go and talk about the game reveals, because again, that's what, despite the name of the Game Awards, that's what everyone cares about. So let's go and talk about the Game Awards. First, the third-party stuff, then we'll talk about Nintendo. Okay, so I've compiled a big fat list of stuff that is potentially going to be there, and even some stuff that's already confirmed. So first things first, let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way, because it's the one thing that is virtually guaranteed everyone knows it's going to be here, because it's so freaking obvious. Elden Ring. We just got a new update for Elden Ring like the other day that adds some Coliseum stuff or whatever, like multiplayer type stuff. And obviously FromSoft is working on an expansion, like a proper expansion. And because Elden Ring and Jeff Keighley have been connected for years, it's beyond obvious. It's not confirmed or anything, but it's super freaking obvious we're gonna get the first big Elden Ring expansion at the show. And I actually have everything in here under little brackets, I have likely, unlikely, possible, and then confirmed. So confirmed is obviously confirmed. It's literally confirmed this is going to be here. Then we have likely, which is, well, likely. Then we have possible, which is kind of 50-50. And then unlikely means it's not going to be here. But yeah, so Elden Ring DLC, first big expansion, extremely likely, almost 100% guarantee. Next up, the Callisto Protocol. Now, of course, this game just came out, and it's had some mixed reviews, and the PC version is apparently a complete and total mess. If what I saw on Digital Foundry, and if Alex Battaglia basically losing faith in humanity on camera was basically anything to go by. Yeah, the Callisto Protocol on PC, at least when it first came out, I know it's gotten a couple patches since then, but apparently it was a complete and total mess, full of tons of shader compilation stutter. And believe me, I really don't like shader compilation stutter, because you have to deal with it all the time when you emulate games. Anytime you boot up a game in Yuzu or Dolphin that you haven't played before, every single new thing you do, you have to deal with the shader compilation stutter. I wish you could just emulate those kind of games without having to deal with that. But, so yeah, believe me, I get the pain, because I really don't like that either. And the fact that it's in, one of the biggest games of the year, at least, that was kind of what it was built up as, yeah. I mean, to be clear, is it Cyberpunk levels? At least for the console versions, no. For the PC version, maybe. But, I don't know. Regardless of how you feel about the Callisto Protocol, I haven't played the game. I don't have any real interest in the game. Regardless of how you feel about it, it is one of the bigger games of the year for people. And even though it just came out, we already know there's going to be DLC coming, because they already have a season pass and stuff. And Jeff Keighley was the one that actually announced Callisto Protocol at I believe, the Summer Games Fest? Was that last year, or was it this year? I don't know. I'm pretty sure the game was announced on Jeff Keighley's stage at Summer Games Fest either last year or this year. So it would make sense that he has we're going to reveal our first big DLC for Callisto Protocol at the Game Awards. That would make a lot of sense. It's not as likely as the Elden Ring DLC, but even though the game just came out, I think this one, it would make a lot of sense. Next up is something that's actually already officially confirmed. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the anticipated sequel to, of course, Respawn's hit game in 2019, Jedi Fallen Order, which I've still not played yet. I need to get around to it. It's on EA Play, so I can play it whenever I want. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yes, this is coming out in 2023. A lot of people looking forward to it with how critically acclaimed the last game was, and it's confirmed to be here. So nothing really to say about that. So, got Jedi Survivor officially confirmed to show up. Also, Destiny 2 Lightfall, the next expansion for Destiny, is confirmed to be here. So, if you care about Destiny, you're probably psyched for that. And then next up, we have probably one of the more notable announcements that will probably be here. Horizon Forbidden West. Everyone's been waiting for the big DLC to come out, because of course the first Horizon game had the Frozen Wilds expansion that came out, and I believe November, December, which was, and the game itself came out in February, like right before Breath of the Wild. And then like at the end of the year, like November, December, the Frozen Wilds expansion came out. Now, of course, it's probably too late for the expansion to actually release this year, but everyone knows that there's a DLC coming. It's been leaked. I'm pretty sure that even the title has been leaked at this point, and all signs are pointing toward it being probably Sony's one and only announcement at the show. There's not any other Sony things on this list, by the way, because there's really nothing else that makes sense for them to show. I mean, obviously, I would love to see Spider-Man, but they're going to save Spider-Man for like a State of Play or a PlayStation Showcase or something. They're not going to put that in the Game Awards. I would love to see it. I'd love to see it, but we're not going to see Spider-Man. It's going to be probably just the Horizon DLC, which is fine. But yeah, so Horizon Forbidden West, like big expansion that's been rumored and leaked, and there's even a title for it. I don't know what the title is, but I know it's been leaked. So yeah, that's pretty likely to be here as well. Next up, Tekken 8 is actually officially confirmed. Now, we got the teaser for Tekken in the last State of Play, and it looked really good. It looks really, really good. Like, it made Street Fighter 6 look bad, and like Street Fighter 6 looked a lot better than Street Fighter 5. And Tekken 8 looks legitimately like, at least in that like teaser trailer, which was real time, I should point out. That wasn't a CG trailer. That was real time gameplay. You could tell because they literally show gameplay and it's 60 FPS and everything. And like it looks really good. Like they got that shot of Kazuya, and Kazuya looks really good. It looks really good in Tekken 8. And also, unlike Street Fighter 6, it is next gen only. Street Fighter 6, which we'll be getting to in a second, is cross-gen. Not fully cross... See, here's what's kind of weird. Again, is Capcom has a couple of, like, games in the pipeline that are going to be on PS4, but not Xbox One. Like, Resident Evil 4, for example, is PS5, PS4, then Series X and S. But no Xbox One, and same for Street Fighter 6. Which is kind of weird. I mean, obviously the PS4 is double the install base of the Xbox One, and also the PS4 is way bigger in Japan than the 5 sales the Xbox One got over there. Now, of course, the Series S is doing pretty alright in Japan from what we've heard, but the Xbox One generation just completely crashed and burned. It was not even close. So maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know, because most developers just do both, because why wouldn't you? But then again, we did see this to some extent with the last generation as well. I remember, like, we did see a couple, not many, but like maybe like one or two, like PS4, Xbox One games that got like 360 versions, but not PS3, because the 360 was like a bigger thing in like the West than the PS3 was. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we're gonna pick like the winner console, because okay, the 360 and PS3 were by the end of the generation at least more or less tied. But a lot of people think of like the 360 as like at least here in like the US, where the 360 was like really dominant. We think of the 360 as like the quote unquote winner of the generation, even though in like Europe and Japan, obviously the PS3 won. But with the 8th generation consoles, it wasn't even close. Oh, PS4 like crushed the Xbox One, even in the US where the Xbox One did all right. Like, you know, 50 million units versus like the 110, 120 that the PS4 has. Like worldwide, it's not even close. But anyways. But yeah, so Tekken 8, though, is fully, again, back on topic here, but yeah, Tekken 8 is completely, as far as I'm aware of, unless they have a secret, whoops, surprise, there's actually a PS4 version, like we got with actually Street Fighter 5. I believe Street Fighter 5 was announced to be next-gen only, and then they were like, PS4 version, same for Resident Evil 4, same for some of the Sony titles, like we thought Miles Morales was going to be PS5 only, we thought Horizon was going to be PS5 only, we thought God of War was going to be PS5 only. And then we got the PS4 versions, so I don't know. So anything is possible. Maybe Tekken 8 really is going to be on the PS4 as well. But as far as we know, it is next-gen only, which is great, because people want to see more next-gen only titles. And even though I haven't been dying for next-gen only titles, obviously, as someone that owns both a PS5 and a Series X, of course I want to see the last-generation consoles abandoned at some point. But I get it, the pandemic slowed things down, and stock for at least the PS5 is apparently still kind of a struggle. I've heard from a lot of people that it's actually not that bad. All you have to do is just like go to like sign up for like the Sony thing, and you'll basically be in the clear. I mean, that's how I got it like a year ago, but I don't know. But the Series X is pretty easy to get, though. You want a Series X, That's pretty easy to get at this point. It's mainly the PS5 that's still a bit of a struggle. Not as much of a struggle as it was a year ago, of course, but I still see some people, not a ton, but I still see comments out there about how, like, oh, if only the PS5 was actually in stock. And it's like 2 years later, this is still a problem. Not as big of a problem, but it's still a problem. But anyways. Point is, Tekken 8, confirmed to be here. Next gen only. That's pretty cool. Next up, Street Fighter 6. I know I kind of mentioned this already. This is not confirmed, but Street Fighter 6's release date did get leaked on the PlayStation Store, and it's going to be coming out in June. So, yeah, that's probably going to be here. Because like, why would it leak right now, right before the show? So yeah, that's probably going to be here. It's not confirmed, but it's probably going to be here. Final Fantasy 16, another game that people are really anticipating, because of course it's coming from the guys over at Creative Business Unit 3, responsible for the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy 14, which many people consider the best game in the series. It's of course the MMO, it's an MMO, so I don't have any real interest in it, but a lot of people really like Final Fantasy 14, and the guy who runs it, Yoshi P. And he is going to be producing the new game, which a lot of people are looking forward to, because it's basically, hey, look, it's the Final Fantasy 14 team, but they're making like a single-player game. So obviously people are going to swarm all over that because they love Final Fantasy 14 and Yoshi P. But yeah, so the game has been delayed, I think, twice? I could be wrong. I know it's been delayed at least once. Right now it is set for 2023. I believe summer 2023. I don't think there's a leaked release date. I could be wrong on that, but there have been rumors that the game will maybe not most likely, but will possibly be here and we'll get a release date for it. I don't think that's confirmed, but yeah. So Final Fantasy 16 release date, and of course a trailer to accompany that, but mainly the release date getting confirmed for what I assume is summer 2023, because Forspoken is coming out in February. Right? So, yeah, February. Oh, this is going to be interesting, because it's like we're going to have Forspoken in... assuming nothing gets delayed again. We're going to have Forspoken in February. Then we're going to have Final Fantasy 16 in, like, the summer. And then, best case scenario, even though it's realistically not going to happen for reasons that I'll explain in a second, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which, by the way, I'm not even putting on this list because that's not happening right now. That's not happening. It'd be cool, but nah. They're gonna save that for another event sometime next year, I imagine, once they get closer to release. But that game, of course, had a release date of coming next winter, which a lot of people interpreted as, wait, it's coming out in December 2023. But then, of course, people like Maximilian Dude pointed out that no, that it's winter in terms of like quarterly earnings. So it's really going to be like January or February or March, because that's all part of winter quarterly. That whole thing, right? And I agree with him. I don't think it's going to come out in December 2023 either. But if it did, that's a trinity of big square. Okay. I know most people don't really care about Forspoken, but still, 2 mainline Final Fantasy games in 1 year would be kind of cool. But realistically, it's not going to happen. But anyways, point is, Final Fantasy 16 release date has a decent chance of being here, but I wouldn't say it's confirmed or super likely. But it's definitely a possibility. Now, next up is something that's probably not quite as high as the Elden Ring DLC, but it's definitely second place, and that is Kojima. We all know how this works. Kojima and Jeff Keighley have had a very strong partnership for many years. They are extremely close. It makes all the sense in the world that this, because apparently Kojima has been teasing his next project. And when I say next project, I am not referring to the Xbox game that was announced at the Xbox event earlier this year. I mean, like, the next, like, Death Stranding 2 or whatever. Like, that game. Or maybe the game after that? How many Kojima projects even are there? So we have the Xbox game that was announced at the Xbox event. Then we have Death Stranding 2, which is confirmed. And then there's another game. So there's, like, a third game as well that's not Death Stranding, and it's not the Xbox game. So maybe that's the game they're talking about? I don't know. Something from Kojima, whether it's Death Stranding 2 or whatever. Something from Kojima will most likely be here. It's been very much rumored. I think Kojima's even hinted at it. So it's not officially like 100% there's going to be something here. This is like right under the Elden Ring. This is right under Elden Ring DLC. This is just so like, come on. It's Kojima and Jeff Keighley. Enough said. Of course it's going to be here. Okay, so next up is actually something that will not be here, supposedly. And that is Microsoft. Now, Microsoft for the last couple of years have actually made some announcements and showcases at the Game Awards, most notably in 2020 when they literally revealed the Series X at the Game Awards, which was actually kind of surprising, like in retrospect, because like that doesn't happen. Like, you reveal your consoles either at E3 or in a standalone event, like what Nintendo did in 2016 for the Switch. You don't reveal them at the Game Awards. But the fact that they did was surprising but cool. And I remember when I watched that, when it was happening, I was like, wait a second. I see... Wait, no. Did I say 2020? Did I say 2020? No. 2019. No, 2020 is when the console came out. So the console would have been out by then. By December 2020. I'm sorry. Game Awards 2019. Okay, before everyone jumps at me and is like, oh, it's 2019. Okay, 2019. At the Game Awards 2019 is when they revealed the Series X. And I remember they had this thing where they would show like these like shots of like canyons, and they showed like, you know, shots of cars, obviously Forza and stuff like that. And they would show like the like detail suddenly increase as like this streak moved across the land. And the second I saw that, I was like, is this the new Xbox? Is this the new, what was the code name? Scarlet? Is this Project Scarlet? Yeah, because Scarlet is the Series X, and then, oh my god, what was the name? What was the Series S's code name? Why have I already forgotten? Lockhart, right? No. Wait. No, Lockhart is the streaming stick. No. It is Lockhart, because the streaming stick is Keystone. So Series X is Scarlet. Series S is... Oh my god. Am I really about to look this up? Am I really looking this up? I genuinely am annoyed that I don't remember this. Oh my god. It's Lock something. Lockhart. Okay. So Anaconda is the name for the entire project. Scarlet is the X. Lockhart is the S. And then Keystone is the canceled streaming stick or whatever. Okay. A little side tangent there, but anyways, yeah, I remember when they revealed the Series X there, and I could tell it was the Series X because of the way they were like, hey, look, here's like tons of detail suddenly. I was like, oh, this is like obviously building up to like the new console, because like why else would they do it like this? And it was cool. We didn't get a lot of information on it, but of course that's where we got the infamous form factor, like, like the mini fridge, as it was dubbed, right? Which Microsoft capitalized on by making like those like $100 mini fridges later on when they embraced the meme, which was kind of neat. But yeah, like, the mini fridge design, everyone like memed, like the mini PC tower. Right, that was actually revealed at the Game Awards as well. It wasn't just the name. They actually showed the console, whereas Sony took until June of 2020 in their like big PS5 event to actually show us what the console looked like. But anyways, point is, Microsoft has a history of showing things, big things even, at the Game Awards. However, this year, it sounds like they are not going to. And you might be wondering why. Well, according to rumors, they're not going to show anything at the Game Awards. Not because they don't have anything to show, because obviously there's tons of stuff that they have. They could show Starfield, they could show Redfall, they could show, friggin', I don't know. They own so many studios now, they'll have something to show. But the reason why they're not going to be showing anything, supposedly, again, this is not confirmed, is because of the Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft, Sony frickin' mess. That is apparently why they're not going to show anything. And my assumption, I haven't actually read into this at all, but here's what I'm guessing the logic is. Because of course, Microsoft's has been kind of positioning themselves as like the consumer-friendly, we're the good guys, like, you know, like Sony's the bad guy, we're the good guys. That's kind of been like the perception that Microsoft has created around this entire like case. And if they show off a ton of stuff at the Game Awards, that's gonna make them look like they're on top, even though they're trying to argue they're at the bottom. And that won't look good in the antitrust case, so that's why we're not going to show anything. That's what I'm guessing the logic is, assuming this is true. And this isn't a Microsoft exclusive thing either, I should point out. There was rumors a couple months ago, like remember like the PlayStation Showcase, how that was supposed to be a thing and it just never happened? We never got, this year we never got a proper big balls E3 style like PlayStation Showcase like we've gotten the last couple of years. And supposedly the reason why that didn't happen was because Sony was worried that if they showed off, hey, look at all of our exclusives, like Spider-Man and stuff, that would look bad on them in the antitrust case with Activision, because Sony's whole deal is that they don't want Call of Duty to be exclusive to Xbox, even though they themselves have tons of exclusives and pay for exclusives and all this stuff that everyone's talked about to death, and I'm not going to add to it. But basically, Sony supposedly didn't do a PlayStation Showcase because of the whole Activision thing, and now Microsoft supposedly won't show anything at the Game Awards because of the Activision thing, and because both sides want to make themselves obviously look like they're the one in the right, because, I mean, why wouldn't they? But anyways, enough about all that. Long story short, since we got way off track, point is, supposedly, Microsoft is not going to be there because of the Activision deal. And that's that. Now, even though I don't think that's a good enough reason, because if anything, I think Microsoft, because I think, if anything, Sony not having their PlayStation Showcase makes more sense than Microsoft, because Sony has all of their exclusives, and PlayStation's whole thing is exclusives, which is fine, I'm not knocking that, but that's what it is. That's the whole point of PlayStation, is exclusives. Whereas with Microsoft, it's all about Game Pass, not necessarily exclusives, although obviously buying all these studios is certainly helping them get exclusives. Whether or not that's the quote-unquote right way to get exclusives is a whole other conversation. I know I've seen a lot of people talk about how having homegrown stuff like what Sony has is better than just buying the competition. That's a whole other conversation. Long story short, we need to move on. Microsoft is supposedly not going to be here, and that's a little bit of a shame, honestly, because I would have loved to see the next Forza Horizon expansion come out. Now, of course, we had the Hot Wheels expansion that came out earlier this year. I haven't played it yet because I've been waiting to just get everything all at once. Because I didn't buy the Forza Horizon 4 expansions when they came out. I just waited until because I think last year they actually had the premium add-ons bundle that had everything for $20. So I'm pretty much just gonna wait for that, or at least a decent sale where I could just get the premium add-ons bundle for at least $30 or whatever, and then I'll get it then. So I haven't played, even though I really like the Forza Horizon games and I like 5 a lot, I haven't played the Hot Wheels expansion because I've been waiting to just get everything when it's all out, just so I can experience everything all at once, and also cheaper price and whatnot, so yeah. But considering that it's been a while since the Hot Wheels expansion came out, it would have been nice to see, at least a teaser for the next expansion. I know that Forza Horizon is not the biggest, most important thing ever, but that would have been cool to see, but supposedly that won't be here because apparently Microsoft won't be here at all, so obviously, if you're expecting to see, obviously there's not going to be any more Halo stuff because, of course, actually Halo just put out a new update actually that added in the custom games browser, so that's neat and all. But yeah, but if you're expecting to get any stuff from Microsoft or any sudden surprise or whatever, new Banjo-Kazooie, because I know people keep asking about new Banjo-Kazooie, yeah, you're not getting anything really. So at least supposedly, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe maybe Microsoft will have something at the show. But as far as we know, they're not going to have anything, which means no Forza Horizon 5 expansion, which kind of sucks. But, oh well, it is what it is. Okay, so next up we have another kind of, ironically enough, maybe this also wouldn't happen because of this, but at the same time, they're not officially a part of Microsoft yet. But basically, Diablo 4. Apparently, because of course Diablo 4 is coming. It's coming out next year. Apparently, there's a leaked release date. Like a lot of these, if you haven't noticed, that's been a constant theme is leaked release dates for a lot of these. But yeah, leaked release date for Diablo 4 apparently, and yeah, I think this one's also June. Could be wrong on that. June 2023 or something. So yeah, seeing that here wouldn't be that surprising, except for, again, the whole Microsoft. Obviously, Activision Blizzard is not owned by Microsoft yet, but maybe they also don't want to deal with litigation. I don't know. But yeah, Diablo 4 is a possibility. I actually had Forza Horizon 5 on this list, but I already talked about that a second ago, so yeah, I don't think that's happening. I'd love to see the next Forza expansion, but that's not happening. They're gonna save that for later, I guess. Now, next up is Capcom. Now, what's interesting is I literally already mentioned Street Fighter 6 is probably going to be here, but there's also been talks about other Capcom stuff. Now, I saw some posts about, hey, Mega Man. Yeah, we're not getting Mega Man. That's not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah, no Mega Man 12, no X9? How many X games are there? I think X8 is the last one, like the one that came out on the PS2 or whatever. So I think X9. Don't quote me on this. Please don't shoot me if you're a Mega Man fan. But I believe it's X9, Mega Man 12, and then of course the almighty Mega Man Legends 3. That's probably never happening anymore at this point. It's been a decade. People won't let it go, and I totally get it. But like, we all know it's not happening. But yeah, any kind of Mega Man, that would be kind of cool, because here's the funny thing. Remember in 2017, at like the end of 2017, when Capcom had that big Mega Man like 25th anniversary stream or whatever, or was it 30th anniversary? Whatever. They had that big anniversary stream. And then they had that little thing where they showed Mega Man, like 8-bit Mega Man walking through like this level, and it would be like Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, and like Mega Man X 1, 2, 3, 4, Legends, whatever. And then they had this like big like 2012 to like 2017 big gap of nothing, and then it's like a new age of Mega Man 11, and then that was the only thing we got. All of that, and we got Mega Man 11, and Mega Man 11 was good. I didn't really play it. I didn't play it, but I heard it was good. You know, it was a good Mega Man game. It wasn't like the game failed or anything. Like, people liked Mega Man 11, but that was all we got. Like, there was no like rebirth of Mega Man. Kind of like how there was like dormancy in like the 2000s, or like after the PS2 era, Mega Man kind of fell off a cliff. Until like that big revitalization thing that Inafune was heading, where it was going to be Mega Man Universe, that like Mario Maker, that kind of like Mega Man, like Mario Maker type thing, where it would have bad box art Mega Man as like a skin or whatever. Then there was that first person shooter, Mega Man like Maverick Hunter, I think is what it was called, that was going to be made by not Retro Studios, but like people that used to work at Retro Studios. And then, of course, the infamous Mega Man Legends 3. And of course, all three of those projects gone. The entire revitalization of Mega Man gone. And then after Inafune left, and everything just kind of fell apart. It wasn't just Inafune leaving, of course, but that was definitely a part of it. And then, of course, way later, yeah, we got Mega Man 11, yay, and then that was kind of all we got. So, you know, getting a new Mega Man project, because it's been, Mega Man 11 came out in, 2018? We haven't had a single Mega Man game of any kind. We've had collections. Capcom has put out every Mega Man game known to man on modern consoles. We had the Legacy Collection 1, Legacy Collection 2, the Mega Man X Legacy Collections, the Mega Man Zero Legacy Collections, the Mega Man Legacy Collections. Okay, I don't think we've had a collection for Legends yet, but that might just be because they know that like if they do that, everyone's gonna hound them about Legends 3. Or maybe it'll be like, hey, if you want Legends 3, buy the collection. Because that's a strategy that companies have done before, where it's like, hey, we're going to put out this remaster of this old classic game that people really want to see come back. Buy the remaster, buy the collection, buy the remake. And maybe we'll make a new one. Something like that. But anyways, point is, Mega Man's... As cool as it would be to see like a new Mega Man game of some kind, that's not going to happen. We already talked about Street Fighter. That's most likely going to be here. The new Monster Hunter Rise port for Xbox, PlayStation was announced recently, so that will probably be here. That's not a new announcement, granted, because it was just announced. But, you know, that would be something. That's something I could totally see them having here. And then Resident Evil 4 we might get something for. Of course, Resident Evil 4 is like Capcom's other big game aside from Street Fighter 6, coming out in May. Not May. March. A lot of people are looking forward to that, of course. We could see that here. I don't think it's a guarantee though, but if we were going to see something that wasn't just Street Fighter, that's probably what it would be. What if we got to see what's it called? Pragmata? The game that was announced like at the Sony event in 2020 and was set for like a 2023 release date or whatever, and we haven't seen squat about it since, aside from like that one trailer, like just recycled. I don't know. Also, they have what's that game? Exo Primal, the game that everyone thought was going to be Dino Crisis, and then it wasn't. That game's coming out. Maybe they could show that there. Devil May Cry. Do we have any? Is there any rumors about Devil May Cry? I don't know. I don't know if there's any rumors about Devil May Cry, but of course, Devil May Cry 5 came out in 2019. We got the port in 2020. It's been a couple of years. It's been 2 years. It's possible they have something at least in planning, but probably not going to get anything like that. And yeah, and I'm not sure what else they would really... I can't think of any other big Capcom series that they would really show. We're not going to get Phoenix Wright. Is Phoenix Wright dead? Like, are we even getting... Like, when was the last Phoenix Wright game? I think it was on the 3DS in, like, 2016, right? I don't know. Anything's possible. I mean, Phoenix Wright's never been a big series, but obviously it has its niche, and there are a lot of people that like it. So I don't know, but I don't know. So, something else from Capcom. And the reason why I think that... But the thing is that I don't know if that's Street Fighter 6 or not, because I saw Capcom put out a tweet that's like, hey, check out the Game Awards, but that might just be for Street Fighter 6. But maybe we'll get something else as well? I don't know. Who knows? And then the last thing I have on this list for the third-party games, again, I'm sure I've missed... Oh yeah, by the way, Mortal Kombat or Injustice or whatever is not going to be here. Ed Boon already confirmed that NRS is not showing anything at the Game Awards, so that's not going to be here. But the one last thing I felt like throwing in, again, I may have forgotten some third-party thing. If I did, apologies. But this is... I was like looking up to see like what rumors and stuff people were talking about, so... I hope I got everything, but if I missed something, apologies. By all means, leave it down below. But the last thing I'm going to bring up really quickly, it's probably nothing, especially considering Elden Ring, but you know what? The obligatory, every big gaming event, where's Bloodborne? Screw it. Just screw it. Bloodborne. Now, the only reason I'm even giving this the light of day is because I saw there was some kind of maintenance thing happening on the PS4 version. Which doesn't mean probably anything. We've seen this before, especially with like Nintendo games where, hey, look, there's maintenance. I mean, that means there's an update coming, and then it doesn't happen. Like we saw this with Smash, where like it was like, wait, maintenance update, and then like sometimes there was something, sometimes they weren't. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And even then, why would it affect the PS4 version if they were going to announce like a PC version or a PS5 version? But I don't know. The reason why I don't think Bloodborne's happening is not because it's Bloodborne, it's because Elden Ring. Why would... Now, maybe Jeff Keighley really wants, like, the double whammy of, oh yeah, we're gonna have Elden Ring and Bloodborne on PC/PS5. That would obviously, like FromSoft fans would just absolutely, like, melt. like people would lose their goddamn minds if they had both of them, but that's not gonna happen realistically. Plus if Bloodborne was coming, I think Sony would probably save that for their own event because of course Sony has a stake in it. Now then again they did reveal wasn't Uncharted on PC revealed in like a Summer Games Fest or something? I don't know. Point is, Bloodborne, it's not happening. It's unlikely, but you know what? Anything is possible. So that's all of what I got for like the third-party games off the top of my head. Again, if I missed anything, by all means, leave it down below. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the reason you're all here, the obligatory Nintendo predictions. So first things first, the Mario movie. Now here's the thing. Before like last week, not last week, the week before that. Whatever. Up until somewhat recently, this would have been like very likely, because last year, because of course the Game Awards is kind of infamous for like not just being about games, they also have movies and stuff like that sometimes, and last year we got our first trailer for the Sonic 2 movie at the Game Awards. So it would make sense that, hey, new Mario movie's coming out, maybe we'll get our next trailer at the Game Awards. Even if that did count as Nintendo's only quote-unquote reveal, that would have made sense, because it's video game related, they have the Sonic... It all makes sense. But this one I think is somewhat unlikely, but we'll get to this in a second, because of course we had that second trailer the other week. If we didn't have that second trailer already, this would be like likely. This would be fairly likely. But ever since we got that second trailer, it's like, well, they're not going to show us a third trailer already when they just gave us the second trailer like 2 weeks ago. So that's not going to happen. Which means it's going to be something else. And apparently, there is going to be something. Because I saw on the Game Awards Twitter account that, I forget his name, but like the guy who's going to be voicing Toad in the movie. They're going to have like a thing with, he's going to be there and they're going to talk about the movie or whatever. So, well, we're not going to get trailer 3 already. That's going to be saved for like the February Direct probably. Or whatever. But this will probably be like, maybe like we'll get like a little like a 30-second snip or something. I don't know. We'll get something probably. So I'm putting this under semi-confirmed because on the one hand, we're not going to get a big fat trailer like we did last time because that just happened not too long ago. But we know that they're going to have something involving the Mario movie there, I think. So semi-confirmed? I don't know. It's probably going to be a little like TV spot type thing. It's like 20-30 seconds at most. Hopefully we'll get to see some new stuff, but we'll see what happens. Next up, Fire Emblem Engage. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are not going to be thrilled with this idea, but it's coming out in January. It's coming out soon, so like it would make sense to show it. Now, do I think they're going to dedicate like a whole like trailer to this game? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like at least brought up. Maybe they reveal like one new thing or just something. Just give it a little like, hey, the game's coming out. Just want to remind you all, something like that. So I don't know. It's not strong by any means, but I feel like I'd throw that in there because it is coming out soon. Oh, another thing. Okay, this one. I actually didn't put this in the list originally, but I just now remembered that this game exists, so I feel like I should bring it up. Advanced Wars. Man, this poor game. I feel bad for all the Advanced Wars fans out there. They waited for like a decade for a new game to come out. And then we finally got, well, it wasn't a new game, but it's a remake. We're getting a remake of the first 2 games. The Advanced Wars fans are really excited. And then then Putin decided to decided to stretch his legs a little. And now the game is delayed indefinitely. Now, if you want my opinion, I personally agree with most people that delaying the game because of the war is pretty stupid. Because Call of Duty doesn't get delayed, and that is way more realistic than this cartoony blippity blip, like, whatever. Like, I'm not dissing Advanced Wars. I'm really not. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, why does this get delayed and that? I mean, of course Call of Duty doesn't get delayed because it's Call of Duty, but like, come on, like, there are way more games that are way more realistic than Advanced Wars. Just because it has war in the title and it has tanks, that means it has to be delayed? Okay. I'm not against it being delayed. I'm against it being delayed indefinitely. Like, if they delayed it like a couple of months, I would have been like, fine. But no, we haven't heard squat about it since it was delayed in like, what, March, April, like whenever the war started? Like, why? It wasn't in the September Direct, so they have practically wiped it off the face of the planet, although last we heard it's not canceled. I think they put out a statement that's like, it's not canceled, guys. It's not canceled, we promise. So, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of funny, because this is a game that was never going to be anything big. Again, Advanced Wars is a very niche franchise that also hasn't had a new game in forever, so it was never going to be like this big thing. But ironically enough, the game being delayed indefinitely because of the war makes it inherently more interesting to people that otherwise wouldn't care, because it's like, oh yeah, that Advanced Wars game that was delayed because of the war, I wonder when they're going to show that again. Because, I mean, they're not just going to cancel it, are they? And for the record, I don't think they're going to cancel it. I don't think it's going to get canned. But I do worry that if the game's going to take too long to come out, and then by the time it comes out, nobody cares. That's kind of the thing I'm concerned about. Even though, again, it's not a franchise I personally care about. But for the Advance Wars fans that want this game to succeed, so they can get, like, an actual new game. Because, again, going back to that thing from earlier of, like, new, old thing gets re-released, sells well, therefore we get new game, that whole philosophy. I'm not going to say for sure that's going to be what Nintendo's idea is with this, but I imagine that's at least part of it. It's like, hey, we'll do these remakes, and if they do okay, maybe we'll do a new game. But that can't happen if the game never comes out, so I don't know. Point is, will it be here? Probably not, but anything's possible. And honestly, it would be kind of cool just so we can get a release date. If they can just be like, hey, look, the game exists, we didn't cancel it, April 2023 or whatever, like, I'd be fine with that. Just give this poor game a release date. Just give us a release date, for the love of God. Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the big boys. The ones that everyone's expecting me to talk about, because it's the two games everyone talks about every single time the Game Awards happens. First things first. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It's coming out in May. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement behind it, being the sequel to Breath of the freaking Wild. However, we've been through this path before. We've been down this road before, where we think it's a guarantee it's going to be here because they showed Zelda at the Game Awards in the past, and then it didn't happen. Like, when they revealed the game at E3 2019, we were like, oh yeah, it's totally going to get shown off at the Game Awards later this year, and we'll get a title and everything. Nope. Didn't have. Okay, 2020 was okay. 2020 is a bit of an exception because it was 2020. Fine, whatever. And then 2021, after we got the E3 2021 trailer, we didn't get anything at the Game Awards. And of course, we didn't have E3 this year at all, but we did get that trailer in the September Direct that gave us the name Tears of the Kingdom. So we at least got that. But I don't know. We've been through this road before where we think it's gotta happen because the last game did it. Because they, like, Breath of the Wild was shown off extensively at the Game Awards. The very first Game Awards in 2014, they had the game there. Back when it was just Zelda Wii U. Our first look at the game outside of the E3 2014 teaser was at the Game Awards, where, like, Miyamoto and, like, Aonuma were there, like, and they were like, hey, walking around the world or whatever. And that was our first ever look at the game outside of that one teaser trailer. And then, of course, a few years later, in 2016, we got another trailer. And then in 2017, we got the Champion's Ballad reveal. So they've shown Breath of the Wild there 3 times. Therefore, it makes sense, in our minds at least, that they'll show Tears of the Kingdom at least once. And they have had 3... I'm going to give 2020 a slack. I'm going to give 2020 some slack. 2020 was 2020, whatever. They've had 2 opportunities, 2019 and 2021, to capitalize on the previous E3 trailers that came out, and they didn't. Now, of course, that's not the Game Awards' fault. That's Nintendo's fault for not giving him a trailer. But still, like, I don't understand why they wouldn't want that. They were cool with it for Breath of the Wild. Why won't they do it now? I don't know. I know people have talked about, the reason why we had all that stuff with Nintendo with the Game Awards in the past was because Reggie and Jeff were, like, close, whereas, like, you know, Doug Bowser doesn't really care all that much. I don't know how much of that is true, but that might... But we had Sephiroth. Okay, Joker was the last, like, Reggie era, like, Game Awards announcement, but Sephiroth was at the Game Awards, and that was under the Doug Bowser era. Also, I don't think Doug Bowser has as much power as people think make it out to be. Maybe this is just me. Okay, I'm gonna get on a slight tangent here. I don't think Nintendo of America has the same autonomy that they used to, because in the Reggie Iwata era, Nintendo of America kind of operated as its own thing. Like, obviously, they were very much still a Nintendo, but, like, the directs were structured differently. Their marketing was structured like it wasn't just the Japan stuff, but in English. And Reggie like had more kind of control to do things kind of their own way. But starting with the Doug Bowser era, that hasn't really happened. Now, that might just be because of Nintendo's way of wanting to have everything be coherent and not be, like, different, but, like, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like, so when people say Reggie wanted to show stuff at the Game Awards and Doug Bowser doesn't, I don't disagree with that. I just don't think that necessarily means all as much as people think it means. Because, I mean, what if Doug Bowser wanted to show something at the Game Awards and Nintendo in Japan was just like, no, we don't want to? That's totally possible with how things have gone. I don't know. But then again, we had Sephiroth. So why'd they show Sephiroth? I don't know. Well, okay, I know a lot of people speculate that the reason why they showed Sephiroth was because they wanted to, you know, because of the whole big house controversy. But honestly, I don't buy that, because the Game Awards is planned like months in advance. So Nintendo had the Sephiroth trailer planned for the Game Awards long before that controversy even happened. So that doesn't really line up to me, but whatever, that's a whole other conversation. Point of the matter is, going back to Zelda, is Zelda going to be here? Maybe. It's definitely not a guarantee, after the last two showings didn't have it, but I still wouldn't say it's 0. Especially now that we have the title. Like, okay, maybe Nintendo wanted to save the title drop for their own event. Fair enough. But now that we have the title, there's no reason to not just show us the game. Like actually show us this game. Because that's the big thing everyone wants. Everyone wants to see what makes this game different from the first. Because that's the big thing everyone's worried about. Is this going to be just Breath of the Wild 1.5? Or will it actually have something substantially different? Because right now, from the little we have seen, a lot of people, at least not everyone, but a lot of people are like, yeah, it's Breath of the Wild, but with like Sky Islands. And that's like basically it. And it's like, but we want to know, like, what else is there? Like, what else is there? Sorry, is there a cave system? Is there what does the rest of the map really look like? Like, we don't know, because we've barely seen anything about the game. So I don't know. I mean, yeah. So is it possible? So long story short, is Zelda possible? Yes, but do not go in expecting it, considering that the last 3 Game Awards is where they could have shown something, they didn't, for whatever reason. So that's kind of that, I guess. And then the other obligatory Game Awards speculation that happens every year, but has never happened since. Metroid Prime 4. I mean, you could throw a Prime Trilogy in with this as well. They're pretty much on the same level at this point, both being things that have been rumored forever but have never happened. But yeah, Prime 4, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say unlikely on this one. I mean, Zelda has the luxury of being Zelda. It's a big deal. Not that Prime 4 isn't a big deal, but Zelda's obviously bigger than Metroid. So I don't know. That being said, however, because Prime 4 isn't as big of a deal as Tears of the Kingdom, maybe Nintendo would be more comfortable with showcasing it in someone else's event. But again, Sephiroth, like that's the thing. This whole idea of they don't want to reveal something big at something that's not their own event, but then they'll show freaking Joker and Sephiroth at the Game Awards, and those are Smash characters. Big Smash characters that people really like. And people are really happy with. Like, they were clearly fine with showcasing those at the Game Awards, so why won't they show Zelda? What makes Zelda so special that it can't be shown, but we can see Smash? Which is like, this may be my bias showing, I'll admit, but Smash is like a bigger deal than Zelda. Not like, I know that's my bias talking, but like, okay, when I say it's bigger, I mean in terms of like hype. Like, Smash is like the crown of like Nintendo like hype, right? That's like the one that is like, that like generates the most hype pretty much unanimously. As long as people like the character, at least. Obviously not everyone loves every character, but when they have a character people love, it is huge whenever it happens, right? Whereas Zelda, it's a big deal, but it doesn't generate that kind of hype, if you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm dragging this out way too long. Point is, Zelda, not impossible, not betting on it. Metroid, not happening. Again, like, they've had so many opportunities, and I thought, if anything, last year would have been the perfect time to do it, because they could have capitalized on Metroid Dread's release last year. They could have capitalized on that and be like, yeah, Metroid Dread, and we have Prime 4. But they didn't then, and they probably won't do it now. If I were to guess when we're going to see Prime 4 at this point, I don't know, E3 2023 maybe? I don't know. I don't know. But then last but not least, nothing. This is the one that I think a lot of people are expecting. They're not expecting anything substantial. No Zelda, no Metroid, no nothing. Just nothing. And when I say nothing, I don't necessarily mean it. That doesn't have to mean literally nothing. It just has to mean nothing is shown. Like, okay, so remember in, I believe, this was 2021. Yeah, 2021. We had that, like, little sizzle reel of, like, Nintendo Switch has games or whatever. That was in, like, the 2019 and 2021, like, Game Awards is when they didn't have anything else. People, like, memed the heck out of it. Like, that. That counts as nothing as far as I'm concerned. Having a sizzle reel does not count. It has to be an actual showcase of some kind. It cannot just be a sizzle reel that says Nintendo Switch has games, and then they tease us with footage we've already seen instead of showing us something new. That doesn't count. It has to be an actual reveal, an actual showcase, an actual trailer. But how possible is this probability? Well, if I'm being honest, of all the ones on this list, for the Nintendo side at least, this is probably, honestly, the most likely. I don't think it's guaranteed there will be nothing. But I would wager it's more than 50%. Like, I'd argue maybe like 75%. Basically, don't go in expecting a Nintendo announcement of any kind. Just don't. Because it's probably not going to happen. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. But outside of that one Mario movie thing, that kind of only barely counts because it's the movie anyway and not a game, I wouldn't expect much, so. Yeah, so, last but not least, we've already spent way too much time just talking about all the announcement possibilities, so I'm not going to drag this part out too much longer, but if we're going to talk about the Game Awards, we kind of have to talk about the awards aspect. Now, normally I would go through like every single category and give like my thoughts on stuff, but because this is already like an hour long, and I don't want to drag this out even further than it already is, we'll just talk about the main one, the Game of the Year, the one that everyone cares about. So, this year we have the following titles up for Game of the Year. A Plague Tale Requiem from Asobo Studio, the guys behind the recent Flight Sim as well as some old Disney Pixar games. Horizon Forbidden West, of course, from the guys over at Guerrilla Games, and of course, Sony Interactive Entertainment. Then we have Stray, the cult hit from Onomapura and Blue 12 Studio, aka Cat Game. Then we, of course, have God of War Ragnarok from Sony Santa Monica Studio and Sony Interactive Entertainment. Then we have, somewhat surprisingly, but it's cool to see it on here, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 from, of course, Monolith Soft and Nintendo. So that's our Nintendo Game of the Year, basically, thing. And a part of me is kind of, like, here's the thing. So I haven't played any of the Xenoblade games. I want to get around to playing these games at some point. I do. I really do. But it's not super high on the priority list. So, but I guess I can say, like, if I could pick which game I'd want to see win, I guess it's Xenoblade, but again, it's not, like, the end of the world or anything. But it would be kind of cool to see, because I know Xenoblade is, like, famous for being snuffed at the Game Awards. Like, I know people, to this day, 5 years later, will still talk about how Xenoblade 2's soundtrack got snubbed at, like, the Game Awards 2017 or whatever. People still talk about that 5 years later. So the fact that it's nominated at all is like a big deal, even though from what I've seen, most Xenoblade fans have no faith that it's actually going to win. And for the record, I don't think it's going to win either. But if it did win, that'd be kind of cool. I don't think it's gonna, but it'd be kind of cool. But who's going to win? Well, come on. Isn't it obvious? Because the final Game of the Year nominee, the one that is clearly at the very least the one that should win by all accounts, is, of course, the one, the only, Elden Ring from, of course, From Software and Bandai Namco Studios. This is the clear, far and away, not even close fan favorite. From the second it was released, it was instantly named as Game of the Year. No game came close. Horizon was completely overshadowed by it. Horizon came out around the same time, and nobody talked about it because people were too busy talking about Elden Ring. It's kind of funny. Horizon has had this pattern of being released near other big games and being overshadowed by them. Because Horizon 1, Zero Dawn, came out in, like, February. Like, I think February, like, 27. Like, it came out, like, right before Breath of the Wild. And then Breath of the Wild came out and completely stole its thunder. Fast forward a year later, Horizon Forbidden West comes out immediately after Elden Ring comes out and completely overshadows it. It's the same thing again. Like what? When Horizon 3, because there's obviously going to be a Horizon 3, right? Like when Horizon 3 comes out, will it be overshadowed by like the next Zelda game or like something else? Like it's like weird how like this series is like cursed to be overshadowed by other games. But yeah, so those are the nominees: Horizon, God of War, Stray, Xenoblade, Elden Ring, and Plague Tale. Who's gonna win? Well, it's pretty obvious that there's only two real contenders here. And that's Elden Ring and God of War. It's gonna be one of those two. You could argue, okay, maybe Horizon, but, well, Horizon was successful and it was critically acclaimed. It's not God of War. God of War is clearly the bigger fan favorite compared to Horizon and the one that people care about more. So between the two Sony giants, it's clearly going to be God of War. But I don't think... Okay, you know what? I'm going to make a prediction, actually. Elden Ring, by all accounts, should be the one that wins. But I think the one that actually wins will be God of War. But I think Elden Ring will win something. I haven't looked at all the categories that all the games are nominated for, because obviously games are nominated for multiple categories. Like, for example, I know that Xenoblade is being nominated for music, so even if it doesn't win Game of the Year, it might finally win that long-coveted Best Music Award that Xenoblade 2 was apparently snubbed for back in 2017, or 2018, whatever. No, it wouldn't be 2017, because 2018, but Smash came out in 2018, that was a part of 2019, I don't know, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Now, Elden Ring is probably I haven't actually looked, but I'm sure it's nominated for a bunch of the other categories. It will win something. It will absolutely win at least one award. But will it win Game of the Year? I don't know. I mean, I think it should win. And that's coming from someone that has not played the game. But the reason why I say it should win is because it's clearly the fan favorite. It's clearly the fan favorite. It's kind of the same reason why in 2020 I thought that Ghost of Tsushima should have won. I'm not surprised Last of Us won, but I thought Ghost of Tsushima should have won for one simple reason: it was the fan favorite. The Last of Us Part 2 was infamously controversial. I haven't played the game, so I have no opinion on it. But it was infamously controversial, famously being called the Last Jedi of gaming, because that's basically what it was. You either loved it or hated it. There was no in-between with Last of Us Part 2. But with Ghost of Tsushima, while it didn't get praised as much as The Last of Us 2 by those that liked it, it was overall much more liked than The Last of Us Part 2. And that's why I think it should have won. Because everyone liked Ghost of Tsushima, whereas a lot of people did not like Last of Us Part 2, even though a lot of people also liked it. If you get what I'm trying to say, right? And that's kind of what I'm thinking about with Elden Ring. It's not the same situation, because like both God of War and Elden Ring were unanimously critically acclaimed. There wasn't any big controversy or anything. But come on, Elden Ring was, from the moment it launched, regardless of how you feel about the game, and again, I haven't played it, so I have no take on it, it's the clear fan favorite, and I think it should win for that reason alone. Even if God of War, it may be a more God of War is definitely a more technically sound game. I mean, From Software is not known for their great technical skill with the frame pacing issues and stuff. So, God of War is definitely a better looking game, at least from a graphical perspective, although many might argue that the art direction of From Software is more appealing, because From Soft does have some pretty darn good artwork, even if they have limited kind of technical capabilities. But that's a whole other conversation. Again, I haven't played the game, so I don't have any stake in that. But so yeah, I think Elden Ring should be the one that wins solely because it's the fan favorite. However, I think realistically, God of War is going to win. But Elden Ring will win something. I don't know what other categories it's been nominated for, but it will win something. In fact, I'm going to go one step further. I think Xenoblade will win something. I haven't looked. I don't. You know, let me look. Let me see what Xenoblade's been nominated for. That isn't just okay. So let's see. Best game direction. We have Elden Ring and God of War and Horizon. Let's see. Best narrative. Okay, all the obligatory games are there. Best art direction. Okay, what else is Xenoblade for? Xenoblade, yeah. Best score and music. Xenoblade. Is Xenoblade nominated for anything else? It's not nominated for best audio design. That's a bit surprising. That's not the same thing as music, but still. Yeah, is it nominated for anything else? Best ongoing game. Got all your like various live service titles like Fortnite and whatnot. Let's see. Best community support, innovation, best VR AR, best action game. Okay, so Bayonetta 3 is nominated for best action game alongside Sifu. They got TMNT for Shredder's Revenge, and Call of Duty was on there. Best action adventure. Yeah, God of War and Horizon are nominated for a lot of these categories. Like they're all gonna win something. Okay, this is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. Best role playing game: Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and then Xenoblade 3. Okay, so Xenoblade 3 is nominated for both music and best role playing game. So that's something. I find it kind of funny that Legends Arceus is on there. I mean, yeah, people liked the game, but I don't know if it deserves to be placed in best role-playing game. I mean, it's obviously not going to win. It's just funny. Live Alive, though, I could see that winning. I know that people really liked that. Let's see, best fighting game. We got King of Fighters, Multiverses, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, DNF Duel. Best family game is mostly Nintendo, like it usually is. We got Kirby, Mario Rabbids, Switch Sports, Splatoon 3, and Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is now on Game Pass. So if you've been waiting to play that game and you got Game Pass, you can go play it right now. So, yeah, best sports racing game, best multiplayer. Okay, now, this is not gonna win. Okay, you want me to be like, what's something I can get behind? Because I don't have any real stake in Game of the Year. How about best multiplayer game? So best multiplayer game has Modern Warfare 2, Shredder's Revenge, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, and, drumroll please, Splatoon 3. If there's one thing I'm going to root for, it's this. Now, you may say, there's no way it has any chance. But go back to 2015 when Splatoon 1 was new, and it actually won Best Multiplayer Game in 2015. I remember that actually being controversial to like the non-Nintendo player base. Like, wow, why did this dumb Squid Game win Best Multiplayer and not like Call of Duty or whatever? It was kind of controversial at the time, but yeah, so it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's actually not impossible that Splatoon 3 wins. Do I think it's going to win? No. It's probably going to be Call of Duty or Shredder's Revenge. But if it wins, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the one thing I'm going to root for. That's the one award I'm going to be like, yeah, I hope it wins. Of course, if it doesn't, again, not the end of the world, but yeah. Content Creator of the Year. The only two on this list that I recognize is Ludwig, known for like his Smash tournaments and stuff. And this is someone that I think is only on the list because of their recent they recently left from Twitter. But Nebelian, he's the guy with like the Mob Psycho, I believe is the name of the series, like the Mob Psycho icon. You probably know him from like Twitter, from like posting news on Twitter. He left Twitter not too long ago because he wasn't thrilled with Elon or whatever. So it's kind of weird that he's on here because he's not a content creator. He's just, I mean, I followed him back when I used Twitter. That's nothing against him, obviously. Just like, but he just posts news. That's like if what's his name? The guy that has like oh my god, what's the name? The guy that has like the Three Kingdoms like Chinese guy as his icon. I don't remember his name, but you know who I'm talking about. That guy that's been posting gaming news on Twitter for like forever. That has like the like the Chinese, like the old like ancient Chinese guy as his picture. Like, that's like if he got nominated for Content Creator of the Year. I think, like that'd be weird, because he doesn't make content, he just posts news on Twitter. And I'm not knocking that, but, like, that doesn't deserve to be Content Creator of the Year. I think that Nibelian is only on here because he left, and therefore that makes his inclusion more notable. Again, nothing against him, just, like he's not a content creator. Posting news on Twitter does not make you a content creator. Best debut indie game, Neon White, Stray, and Tunic. Those are probably the 3 that are going to be contenders. Best adaptation. Is this new? This might be new, actually. Arcane. Okay, Arcane's probably going to win that one. Cyberpunk Edge. Oh, yeah, actually, that might win, too. The Cuphead Show. Actually, hold on. Actually, this is a bit more contentious than I thought it'd be. Arcane, Cyberpunk, and Cuphead were all received well. Sonic 2 was received well, but not well enough that I think it would win. And then at the very bottom, I legit forgot this even came out. This came out, like, before Morbius, I think. Uncharted. As in, you know, the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland. Remember that came out this year? I legit completely forgot that came out this year. And yet that's probably the whole reason why we had the Uncharted ports, like for PS5, was to promote the movie. And yet I forgot that the movie existed. Well, that's definitely not winning. So yeah, I'm going to guess Arcane. It's going to be Arcane or Cyberpunk. That's my guess as to who's going to win that category. Most anticipated game, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy. Oh yeah, I didn't mention Hogwarts Legacy at all. We might see that here, actually. Just like in general, it's like a showcase or whatever. Resident Evil 4 Remake, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Well, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the last couple of years, Tears of the Kingdom has won this category. Let me check. Let me see if that... Because I know Breath of the Wild definitely won, like, back in, like, 2015, 2016, the, like, best anticipated game. Let me see. I swear that it won at least one of these. Okay, it did not win, but it was not... Okay, so Tears of the Kingdom back when it was just Breath of the Wild 2, or, I'm sorry, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda, yeah, whatever. So in 2020 and 2021, it was nominated. It didn't win, but it was nominated. And then it was also nominated for Most Wanted Game in the Golden Joysticks Awards, and it actually won that in 2022. Do I think it's going to win? I think it has a higher chance of winning now because we're getting closer to its release and we actually have a title. But do I think it's actually going to win? I think it's going to... If it's not Zelda, it's probably going to be Final Fantasy. Now, you might say, what about Starfield? But I don't know. I don't think that... Like, people are curious about Starfield, but I don't think that many people are, like, really hyped for it in the same way that people are for Final Fantasy or Tears of the Kingdom, or hell, even Resident Evil 4. So I'm guessing either Final Fantasy or Tears of the Kingdom will win that one. Best esports game, best esports athletes, best esports team. I don't really care about any of this esports stuff. Plus, I don't recognize like any of the people on here, so I'm not gonna really comment on it all that much. Okay, that's all the categories. Okay, we got through all the categories. So, yeah, alrighty then. So, I guess that's that. So yeah, as far as game of the year is concerned, just to kind of circle this all out. I think realistically, it's going to be God of War, but Elden Ring, I think, by all means, should be the one that wins. But I don't think people are going to be mad with God of War. See, here's the one thing the Game Awards has going for them. They don't have a controversial pick that everyone's going to be like, oh, this one's totally going to win by default. Like, we don't have that this time around. Like in 2020, everyone was convinced, I tell you, that Last of Us was going to win. I didn't think that was a guarantee. I thought, okay, it definitely has a strong chance of winning, but I didn't think it was a guarantee. And then it won like 7 awards, which I'll admit I thought was a bit much. Like, okay, it winning a couple of awards is one thing, but it won like 7 awards. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, it was like, whoa. Like, that was kind of weird, I'll admit. That was weird. But yeah, also, like, in 2019, they had Death Stranding nominated, and people were like, oh, Death Stranding's gonna win because Kojima and Jeff Keighley. And it didn't. But then Last of Us won the year after, so I don't know. Maybe it's just a complete toss-up. But there's no controversial game this year. I don't know if there was one last year, but there's definitely not one this year. There's no game on that list that people are gonna, like, lose their minds at if it wins. Okay, Stray, I guess? But people liked Stray. Like, I don't know. Then again, people like Last of Us, just not everyone. A lot of people didn't like Last of Us, so I don't know. I don't know. But Elden Ring should win, but God of War will probably be the one that actually wins. And that is the video. This went on for longer than I honestly kind of wanted. This is like, we're like at over an hour. Yeah, if you're still listening to this, then thank you very much for sticking all the way through and for listening. And yeah, what do you guys want to see at the Game Awards? You know, is there a game you do want to see, don't want to see? Like, what game do you want to see win or not win any of the awards? Any thoughts you have on the Game Awards, by all means, leave it down in the comments below. And yeah, so I guess that's going to be it. So yeah, stay tuned for my stream tomorrow. And yeah, I guess with that being said, this is Logan59XP, and I'll see you guys next time.